Today I'm taking a look at the GOYOJO GPL30 Smart Pipeline Inspection Tool. Okay, so we have got our wand. It's interesting, so it does actually have a sensitivity adjustment on it. And it appears to be charged right out of the box. We got our USB-C charging port there on the side. What appears to be our speaker here on the handle. Yep, so that is the speaker. And we have LED indicators here to let us know how close we are. So with this turned all the way up, it is not reading much. It's basically just reading the background interference without reading the transmitter itself. So that is one thing to keep in mind. It is possible to get a false negative with this, but even with this turned all the way up, it was still barely reading 1 or 2. So this is nice. It actually comes with a couple of extra heads. So in the event that you push this into a pipe and you somehow damage the tip, that is not going to be a problem. You've got 4 extras. And it looks like we also got some super glue. That's nice. It does come with a charging cable. This is USB-A to USB-C. And here we have got our transmitter. So the nice thing about this one, we got our handle on the top. We have our transmitter tip right there. So that's going to be what the wand actually reads. And we got this crank right here. So you can use that to push and pull our transmitter out. And that is how you're supposed to use this guy. You are not supposed to just grab the tip and yank that out like you can with a fish tape or something like that. It's not a fish tape. This is a transmitter. You got to treat it a little bit more carefully. So all of the movement is going to be done with this crank. We got our power button on here. We got a power indicator, and we got a USB-C charging port right there. It does say that it's using a 3.7 volt, 2000 milliamp hour battery. So that should allow this to run for quite a while. All it's going to be doing is transmitting a signal. And it says we can use this on iron pipe or PVC. And nothing really on the back. So very simple tool. It's going to be great because you can hand that to pretty much anybody. They'll be able to pick that up and use it. And it does come with instructions. So I'll tell you what the indicator means, simple diagram of how to use it. The instructions for replacing the tip. We're using the GPL30, so ours is 30 meters. It says it has a maximum range of 0.5 meters. And with a note, detectable range means the maximum valve distance under circumstances where there is no obstacle between the transmitter and the receiver in the air. Basically, if we have the transmitter here and we have the receiver here, it can read half a meter. It says it's got a working time of about 10 hours, so that's excellent. So, go ahead and turn that guy on. Okay. All right, so that is with it barely on, it is able to read it fairly close, which is important because if you're trying to find out exactly where that is, you're going to want to be able to do that. If we turn this up, we'll be able to get a pretty good reading on where that is. Again, in the air, so not necessarily underground or with any other electronic interference. All right, so I got a couple of different types of pipe here. I got copper pipe, I have EMT, and I got some PVC. So again, we don't want to pull this out. We want to let the tool do the job. So I had the sensitivity turned all the way down. There we go, so we can see it right there. So definitely my line is right about there. And that can pick that up inside of copper. All right, and let's go ahead and turn this up. So right now we're on max, and I'm about maybe a foot away on copper. And that is giving me enough information where I should be able to find that. Now it says this can work through concrete, so if you got pipe going through your concrete, that's not going to be a problem. But it does say that you should try to use this in a dry area as much as possible. So if you're in a very damp area or a place with a lot of electromagnetic interference, then that could interfere with the signal. Okay, so copper does work. Let's use EMT. So we are definitely right about there. And again, from about a foot away, we can just see that. All right, let's try our PVC. All right, so it definitely wants to see that through the PVC. So I can get closer to 2 feet away, 1.5 feet, 2 feet away, and I'll still be able to pick that up through PVC. So the type of material that you're detecting through will make a difference. But it does work in copper and EMT, which I actually wasn't even sure I was going to be able to do. So the fact that it's able to do that is pretty dang great. Pull that guy back out. There we go. So here I have a cabinet that is currently powered, and we can notice that this is going to make some noise. But you'll also notice it makes a different noise than the actual transmitter. So you can get a false positive, but if this is the only option you've got, or if you're just running out of options, this is an option that you'll have. So I'm going to push that down, and see if we can pick that up below. Yeah, and we can pick that up. So it does get interference, but it still does work in a pinch. So I'm going to try to push this through the floor. There we go. And we'll see if we can find that below. Yep. There it is right there. Cool. So yeah, even with live wires, it can help you out if you need it. Now, even though you're supposed to use this in as dry an environment as possible, sometimes that's just not really an option. So here I have a sink. We can see we do have standing water in here. And I just want to see that does fit right down the drain. So this does have a grate in the bottom and it is able to just fit inside there. So let's see if we can pick that up. Oh yeah. Very easily. Even with the sensitivity almost all the way off, this is still able to pick that up, probably because of that plastic pipe. So not a lot of potential for interference. Even in a wet environment, still works no problem. So yeah, overall, that is a pretty cool tool.